What I'm about to tell you sounds impossible, but I swear on everything I have it's true. My son-in-law looked me straight in the eye and told me my dog was gone. He showed up at my front door holding a small wooden box. His right hand wrapped in bloody bandages, tears in his eyes. He said the dog attacked him out of nowhere, that the vet said he was too aggressive, too dangerous, that they had to put him down for everyone's safety. I believed every word. I mean, why wouldn't I? This was my daughter's husband, family, someone I trusted. I cried over that box for 3 whole days. And then, at 2 in the morning on the 4th night, I heard scratching at my back door. When I opened it, there he was. Alive. Covered in mud and blood. Paws torn to shreds, but alive. And he went straight to the memorial garden my son-in-law had built, the one for my late husband, and started digging like his life depended on it. So I got down on my knees in the dirt and helped him dig. When we hit metal, when I pulled that box out of the ground and opened it, everything made sense. Why my son-in-law had lied. Why my husband made sure I got this specific dog before he died. Why my daughter had been pulling away from me for months. And why I had about 12 hours to decide what to do before my whole world exploded. My name is Diane and this is my story. Before we go any further, do me a favor and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for the Never Too Old channel. We're building a community here. Folks who understand that life doesn't stop at 60, that the most important chapters sometimes happen when you least expect them. Now let me take you back to where this all started. The day my husband died, I didn't think I'd survive it. His name was James. We'd been married 42 years. Met in college, both of us studying criminal justice. Thought we were going to change the world together. He became a detective with the Richmond Police Department. I worked as a paralegal. We built a good life on Maple Avenue, raised our daughter Emma. Thought we'd grow old together watching grandkids play in our backyard. Cancer had other plans. Lung cancer, stage 4 by the time they caught it. He lasted 8 months from diagnosis to the end. Those last weeks, we had hospice nurses coming in daily. He wanted to die at home in our bed, and that's exactly what happened. I was holding his hand when he took his last breath on a Tuesday morning in April. The funeral was that Friday at St. John's Episcopal, the church where we'd gotten married all those years ago. I remember standing in the receiving line, shaking hands with people whose faces I recognized but whose names I couldn't recall. Grief does that to you, makes everything blurry except the pain. Emma showed up late, slipping in just as the service started. I spotted her in the back pew, sitting next to her husband Michael. She looked thin, too thin, wearing a black dress with long sleeves even though it was already pushing 85 degrees outside. I tried to catch her eye, but she kept her gaze down. Michael had his arm around her shoulders, but something about it looked wrong, possessive instead of comforting. After the service, everyone gathered in the church basement. You know the drill, little sandwiches nobody eats, coffee that tastes like it's been sitting since dawn, people standing around not knowing what to say. I was near the door, trying to figure out how soon I could leave my own husband's funeral, when someone tapped my shoulder. It was William, James's partner from the force. Everyone called him Will. Big guy, had to be 6'3", built like he could still handle himself even though he'd retired the same time James did, about 5 years back. "Diane," he said quietly, "I need to talk to you. Somewhere private." We went outside to the parking lot. The spring sun felt too bright, too cheerful for a day like this. Will walked me over to his truck, a black Chevy Silverado that had seen better days. "James asked me to do something for him," Will said. "Before he passed. Asked me to make sure you got something important." "What are you talking about?" He opened the back door of his truck. Sitting on the seat was the biggest German Shepherd I'd ever seen. Had to be close to 100 pounds. The dog sat perfectly still, watching me with these intense brown eyes. "This is Max," Will said. "James wanted you to have him." I just stared. "James got me a dog." "When?" He never said anything. "About 3 months ago. He made me promise not to tell you until after. Said you had enough to worry about taking care of him. But he was real specific about this, Diane. He wanted you to have Max said you'd need him. The dog, Max, tilted his head slightly, still calm, still watching. Will, I don't know if I can handle a dog right now. I can barely handle getting out of bed in the morning. He's trained, easy to care for. James wouldn't have done this if he didn't think it was important. Trust him on this. Please. I looked at Max again. He was beautiful, I had to admit. That classic German Shepherd look, alert and intelligent. Something in those eyes made me feel like he understood exactly what was happening. Okay, I heard myself say. Okay. Will's whole body relaxed. I've got food and supplies in the bed. I'll follow you home, help you get him settled. We drove back to the house in separate vehicles. Max sat in my passenger seat like he'd done it 1,000 times, looking out the window, perfectly calm. At home, Will brought in a huge bag of dog food, bowls, a bed, toys. He showed me Max's routine, how much to feed him, what commands he responded to. He's a good dog, Will said. Listens well. You won't have any trouble with him. Where did James even find him? I helped him locate Max. He's got a background in protection work, very well trained. James met him a couple times before he got too sick. Really liked him. Thought you two would be good for each other. Will left around sunset. I stood in my living room with this massive dog I'd just inherited, trying to make sense of it. Max sat down and looked up at me. Guess it's just you and me now, I said. His tail moved just slightly, acknowledgement. The next day Michael showed up. I was in the kitchen trying to force myself to eat something when the doorbell rang. There he was on my porch with a casserole dish in his hands. Hey Mom, he said. He'd been calling me that since he married Emma 5 years ago. I never liked it but never said anything. Thought you could use some food. That's sweet of you, Michael. Thank you. He came inside, set the casserole on the counter. That's when he saw Max, who was lying near the couch. Michael stopped dead. That's a big dog. His name is Max. James arranged for me to have him. Arranged? When? Before he died. Will brought him to me yesterday. Michael's face changed, got tight. That seems like a lot for you to handle at your age. A dog that size. My spine straightened. I'm 65, Michael, not 90. I can handle a dog. I'm just saying that's a lot of work. Feeding him, walking him, vet bills. If you need help, I'm happy to help. Or we could find him a better home. James wanted me to have him. So I'm keeping him. Max had gotten up and walked over to stand next to me. Not aggressive, just present. Michael looked at the dog, and something flickered across his face. Fear. Anger. It was gone too quick to tell. Okay, Michael said slowly. Just offering. He left a few minutes later. I watched from the window as he sat in his truck for a solid 5 minutes before driving away, talking on his phone the whole time. That night my phone rang. Hi, sweetie, I said. Hey, Mom. How are you holding up? Day by day. You know. Oz. Michael said you got a dog. Max. Your dad arranged it before he died. A German Shepherd. Yes. Another pause, longer this time. Those dogs can be aggressive. Are you sure he's safe? He's been nothing but gentle. Very well behaved. I just worry about you living alone with such a big dog. What if something happens? Emma, I'm fine. Max is fine. Everything's fine. Okay. She didn't sound convinced. I should go. Michael's calling me. She hung up before I could say I love you. I sat there holding the phone, that familiar knot forming in my stomach. Something was wrong with Emma, had been wrong for a while now. The weight loss, the long sleeves in hot weather, the way she flinched when Michael touched her. I tried to ask her about it months ago, but she'd shut down completely, insisted everything was perfect. Max came over and put his head on my knee. You're a good boy, I said, scratching behind his ears. I don't know why James thought I needed you, but I'm glad you're here. 2 weeks later, Michael showed up again with blueprints. I was in the backyard with Max when Michael's truck pulled into the driveway. He came around the side of the house carrying rolled-up papers. "Hey Mom. Got something I wanna show you." He spread the papers on my patio table. Detailed drawings of a garden, raised beds with stone borders, a curved pathway, a bench, spots marked for roses and lavender. "I wanna build you a memorial garden," Michael said. "For Dad. Make it really special, something beautiful to remember him by." I looked at the drawings. They were gorgeous, clearly professional. "Michael, this is wonderful. But it must be expensive." "Don't worry about cost. Dad was good to me, treated me like his own son. I want to do this for him. For you." My eyes teared up. "Thank you. This means a lot. I'll start Monday. Already got the materials ordered." He showed up Monday morning with a truck full of supplies. Cedar boards, bags of soil, stone pavers, plants. He worked alone most days, though sometimes another guy would show up to help. Michael never introduced him and the guy never spoke to me. The digging was extensive. Michael said it was for proper drainage, but those holes went down 3 feet in places. He'd be out there for hours, sweating through his shirt, checking his phone constantly. Max watched from the back door. Every single day, he'd sit at the window, eyes locked on Michael's every movement. "Can you keep the dog inside?" Michael asked on the 3rd day. "He makes me nervous. He's just watching. He's not bothering you." Still, I'd feel better if he wasn't staring at me. So I kept Max in the house, but he'd position himself at the window, tracking Michael like a surveillance camera. Emma came by during the 2nd week. I'd invited her for lunch. She showed up wearing a turtleneck. In June. "Aren't you hot in that?" "Yes. I'm always cold lately. You know that." I didn't know that, but I didn't argue. Michael was in the backyard working on the raised beds. Emma went out to say hello. I watched from the kitchen. He pulled her close, whispered something in her ear. She nodded, her whole body tense. His hand gripped the back of her neck, not gently. She didn't pull away, just stood there taking it. When she came back inside, I tried again. "Emma, honey, are you okay? And don't say fine. Really, are you okay? Mom, please. Not today. If something's wrong, if Michael is." "Stop." Her voice came out sharp. "Just stop. My marriage is fine. My life is fine. Why can't you just accept that?" "Because I'm your mother and I can see." "You can't see anything." She grabbed her purse. "I have to go." "Emma, wait." But she was already out the door, practically running to her car. The garden took 3 weeks total. When Michael finished, it was stunning. The raised beds were perfect, filled with James's favorite roses already blooming. The stone path curved gently through the space. A wooden bench sat at the center with a brass plaque, in loving memory of James Morrison, beloved husband and father. Michael took about 50 photos with his phone, posing next to different parts of the garden, smiling wide. "I'll maintain it for you," he said. "Come by every week, water the plants, pull weeds, keep it looking good. You shouldn't have to worry about it." "Thank you, Michael. Really. This is beautiful." After he left, I walked through the garden with Max. The dog sniffed around the raised beds, his nose working overtime near the back corner. Then he started pawing at the dirt. "Max, no. Stop that." He looked at me, then pawed again, more insistent. I pulled him away from that spot, but over the next few days, it became an obsession. Every time we went outside, Max would go straight to that back corner and dig. Or he'd just sit there, staring at the ground for 30 minutes straight. Michael noticed during his first maintenance visit. "What's he doing?" "I don't know. He's fixated on that spot for some reason. Make him stop. He's gonna wreck the whole garden." "I'm trying." Michael's jaw clenched. "That dog is too much for you. You should get rid of him. James wanted me to have him." James didn't know the dog would destroy his memorial. "This is disrespectful." "He's not. Look at it." Michael's voice rose. "Look what he's doing. You can't control him." "Michael, I'm not getting rid of Max." We stood there, tension crackling between us. Finally, Michael got in his truck and drove away without another word. His visits increased after that. Every few days, sometimes twice a day, always checking the garden, always watching Max. The dog's behavior got worse, more frantic. He'd dig deeper holes before I could stop him, his paws bloody from the effort. One Thursday afternoon, Michael showed up while I was at my weekly lunch with my friend Carol in Henrico. When I got home around 5, his truck was in my driveway. He was sitting on my front porch, waiting. My stomach dropped. Got out of my car. "Michael, what are you doing here?" He stood up slowly. His face was white as paper. "Where's Max?" "Yes." The window where Max always waited was empty. Michael held up his right hand. It was wrapped in thick white gauze, blood soaking through. "He attacked me." My purse slipped from my shoulder and hit the ground. "What happened? Where's Max?" "I came by to water the garden," Michael said. His voice shook. "I let myself in through the side gate like always." Max was in the backyard. The second he saw me, he just lunged. No warning, no growling, just attacked me. I looked past him again, searching for any sign of Max. Where is he now? I had to make a decision, Mom. A fast decision. Michael wouldn't meet my eyes. After he bit me, I managed to get him in my truck. Drove straight to the emergency vet on Broad Street. The bite was deep, needed 12 stitches. The vet examined Max, and I told him what happened. He said a dog that aggressive, that unpredictable, he's a danger. He could attack you next. Could kill you. My legs felt weak. What did you do? I had to think about your safety. You're alone in this house. If Max attacked you like he attacked me, you wouldn't be able to fight him off. The vet agreed. We made the decision together. What decision? But I already knew. I could see it in his face. I had him put down. Sorry, Mom. I really am. But it was the right thing to do. The only thing to do. The world tilted sideways. I grabbed the porch railing to keep from falling. You killed my dog. I protected you from a dangerous animal. That wasn't your decision to make. My voice came out louder than I intended. That was James's dog. His last gift to me. You had no right. I had every right. He attacked me. Look at my hand. He thrust the bloody bandage toward me. What was I supposed to do? Wait until he killed you? You should have called me. Let me talk to the vet myself. Let me make the decision. You're being emotional. You're not thinking clearly. I did what needed to be done to keep you safe. He walked to his truck and opened the passenger door. He pulled out a small wooden box, maybe 8 inches tall, dark walnut with brass corners. He came back and tried to hand it to me. These are his ashes. The vet cremated him this afternoon. I'm sorry it happened this way, but in time, you'll understand I was protecting you. I stared at the box. Didn't take it. Couldn't touch it. Michael set it on the porch railing. We stood there in the June heat, sweat running down my back, my whole body shaking. I know you're upset, Michael said. But you'll see. In a few days, you'll realize this was for the best. He got in his truck and drove away. I stood on that porch for 20 minutes, maybe longer. The sun started going down. Neighbors drove past. Someone waved. I didn't wave back. Finally, I picked up the box. It was heavier than I expected. I went inside and set it on the kitchen counter. Max's water bowl was still on the floor. His bed was still in the corner. His leash hung on the hook by the door. My phone rang. Mom, Michael told me what happened. I'm so sorry. Her voice sounded flat, rehearsed, like she was reading from a script. Michael killed my dog. He was protecting you. Max attacked him. You saw his hand. Max wouldn't attack anyone without reason. You don't know that. Big dogs can be unpredictable, especially German shepherds. Michael was trying to help you. Why can't you see that? Help me. He took James's dog and had him killed without even calling me. Emma's voice rose, got defensive. He made a hard decision in a crisis situation. He was trying to keep you safe. That's what husbands do. They protect their families. I heard what she said. Not that's what people do, or that's what family does. That's what husbands do. Like she was justifying something, convincing herself. Emma, listen to yourself. You sound terrified. Silence. Then a door closing in the background. I have to go, Emma whispered. Emma, wait. The line went dead. I tried calling back. It went straight to voicemail. I tried 3 more times. Same thing. I sat at the kitchen table with that wooden box in front of me until midnight. Couldn't cry. Couldn't think. Just sat there in the dark, staring at what was supposed to be all that was left of Max. The first night without Max was the longest night of my life. I kept expecting to hear him shifting positions in the living room, kept listening for his breathing, the click of his nails on the hardwood when he got up to check on me. The silence felt wrong, heavy, suffocating. Around 2 in the morning I gave up trying to sleep. Went to the kitchen, made coffee I didn't drink. Looked at the memorial garden through the window. Even in the darkness, I could see the spot where Max had been digging, where Michael had gotten so angry, so panicked. Why had that spot upset Michael so much? The second night was worse. I kept replaying everything. Michael's white face when he saw Max digging. The way his hands clenched into fists. How his visits increased after Max started focusing on that corner. The deep holes he'd dug when building the garden. Way deeper than necessary for drainage. The guy who sometimes helped him, the one who never spoke, never made eye contact. Nothing made sense, but there was a pattern. I could feel it. I thought about James lying in that hospice bed, weak and dying but still sharp. Still a detective. He'd made Will promise to bring me Max specifically. Not just any dog. This dog. This specific, trained German shepherd. Why? I must have dozed off in the chair around 1:30 because I woke up to a sound from the backyard. Scratching, rhythmic like something digging. I froze and listened. There it was again. Definitely digging, and it sounded big. I went to the back door and looked out the window. At first I couldn't see anything. The yard was dark except for the security light by the garage. Then something moved near the memorial garden. Something large. 4-legged. I unlocked the door and stepped onto the patio. The animal was in the back corner of the garden, right where Max had always dug. Dirt was flying everywhere. The animal stopped and turned its head toward me. My heart stopped. It was Max. Alive. Real. Standing in my garden covered in mud and God knows what else. We stared at each other for what felt like an hour but was probably 3 seconds. Then his tail wagged once, slow and deliberate. He turned back to the hole and kept digging, frantic, desperate, like he was running out of time. I ran across the yard and dropped to my knees next to him. Max. Oh my God, Max. He paused long enough to lick my hand once, then went back to digging. His paws were torn up, bleeding. His fur was matted with mud and dried blood. He had scratches on his face and side. But he was alive. What are you doing? What's down there? He just kept digging, faster now, like my presence gave him new energy. I got next to him and started pulling dirt away with my bare hands. We dug together, both of us frantic. My nails broke. My hands started bleeding. I didn't care. Then my fingers hit something solid. Metal. I cleared more dirt away and found the edge of a box. Military green, waterproof, with heavy-duty latches. I pulled it free from the ground. It was heavy, maybe 8 or 10 pounds. Max stopped digging immediately. He sat back and looked at me, waiting. My hands shook as I flipped the latches and opened the lid. Inside were packages. 6 of them. Vacuum-sealed, professional-looking. White powder visible through the clear plastic. I didn't know exactly what it was, but I knew. Drugs. Had to be drugs. Everything clicked into place all at once, like a door slamming open in my mind. Michael's garden project. The maintenance visits. The deep digging. Max's obsession with this exact spot. Michael's panic when Max wouldn't stop digging. His desperate attempts to get rid of the dog. The fake euthanasia. Michael had buried drugs in my backyard. In James's memorial garden. And James had known. Somehow he'd known this would happen. That's why he'd given me Max. A dog trained to find exactly this. I looked at Max. He was swaying on his feet, exhausted beyond anything I'd ever seen. His sides heaved. His paws left bloody prints in the dirt. "You walked back," I whispered. "However far Michael took you, you walked back to finish this." He leaned against me and I put my arms around him, careful of his injuries. "We need help. We need Will." I pulled out my phone with shaking, dirt-covered hands and dialed Will's number. It rang 4 times. I thought it would go to voicemail. Then his voice, thick with sleep. "Diane? It's 2:30 in the morning. What's wrong?" "Max is alive," I said. The words tumbled out fast. "He came back, Will. He walked back. And I found drugs. Michael buried drugs in the memorial garden." Silence. Then Will's voice came back, sharp and alert. All traces of sleep gone. "Don't touch anything else. I'm on my way." 15 minutes. He hung up. I sat in the dirt with Max leaning heavily against me, both of us covered in mud and blood, the box of drugs open beside us, waiting. 14 minutes later. Headlights swept across the front of the house. A truck door slammed. Footsteps coming fast. Will appeared around the side of the house, moving faster than I'd seen him move in years. He was wearing sweatpants and an old police academy t-shirt. No shoes, just slippers. He'd left in a hurry. He stopped when he saw us. Me sitting in the dirt. Max barely able to hold his head up. The metal box open between us. "Jesus Christ," Will said. He came over and knelt next to the box, looked at the packages without touching them. His face went hard, the way it used to when he was working a case. "Cocaine," he said. "Professional packaging. This is at least 3 kilos, maybe 4. Street value around 200,000. Michael buried it here. In the garden he built for James." Will looked at Max, really looked at him. Ran his hands carefully over the dog's body, checking for injuries. Max's tail moved weakly. "This dog's been through hell," Will said quietly. "Look at his paws. These injuries are fresh hours old. He's walked miles. Michael told me he had him put down. Said Max attacked him and he had to make a decision for my safety." Will found scratches on Max's neck and side. Examined them closely. "These are defensive wounds. He fought someone off. Michael tried to kill him, probably took him somewhere remote, but Max fought back and got away." The bandage on Michael's hand. "He said Max attacked him. Max bit him fighting for his life," Will said. "Then Michael left him somewhere, probably figured he'd die of exposure or get hit by a car. But he walked back." Will looked at me, his eyes intense. From however far Michael took him, this dog found his way home to finish his mission. I put my hand on Max's head. He was barely conscious now, swaying even while sitting. "We need to get him inside," Will said. "Then I need to make some calls." We got Max into the house. He could barely walk. Will helped me settle him on his bed with water nearby. The dog's eyes closed immediately. "He'll be okay," Will said. "He just needs rest. But we should get him to a vet first thing in the morning." We sat at the kitchen table. I washed the dirt and blood off my hands while Will stared at the memorial garden through the window. "Why here?" he asked. "Michael has his own house, his business, storage units. Why would he bury drugs in my backyard?" Will's jaw tightened. "Because we've been watching him." My hand stopped moving. "What?" "James came to me about 8 months before he died. Said he'd been noticing things about Michael. The expensive lifestyle on a contractor's salary. Large amounts of cash. Evasive about his jobs. And the way Emma changed after she married him. Got quiet. Scared. Felt sick. James knew. He suspected Michael was involved in something criminal. Couldn't prove it, but his instincts were good. Always were. He asked me to use my contacts at the department, see what we could find. And I passed the information along. They started looking into Michael. financial records, known associates, surveillance. The works. The pieces fell into place. And Michael figured it out. Eventually. Criminals always do. They notice the same car behind them too many times. Feel the pressure. Michael got paranoid. He couldn't use his usual locations anymore, couldn't risk it. He needed somewhere clean. Somewhere police would have absolutely no reason to look. My house. You were perfect from his perspective, Will said. Respectable property. Recently widowed homeowner with no criminal record. No red flags. And he's your son-in-law. He has legitimate access. Can come and go anytime he wants. Neighbors don't think twice. No probable cause for us to get a warrant. I looked at the memorial garden through the window. He used my grief. Used James's death. The garden was calculated. A beautiful gesture from a devoted son-in-law honoring his father-in-law's memory. Who would question him digging in your yard? He could bury whatever he wanted, and you'd never know. How long was he planning to keep it here? Probably not long. Just until he thought the heat died down. Then he'd come back, tell you he was maintaining the garden, dig it up when you weren't looking. You'd never be the wiser. But Max found it. Will nodded. Max is a retired K-9. Trained in narcotics detection. Even retired, that training never goes away. It's in their bones. The minute Max arrived, he could smell what was buried there. That's why he kept digging. He was doing exactly what he was trained to do. My throat closed up. James knew this would happen. James was smart. He knew if Michael was what he suspected, eventually Michael would make a move. He made sure you'd have protection and a way to find evidence when that happened. Will pulled out his phone and started making calls. It was almost 3 a.m, but people answered. Cops don't keep normal hours. I sat there listening to one side of the conversation. Michael's name. My address. The amount. The need to catch him in the act. When he hung up, he looked at me seriously. We've got a problem. What? We can't just arrest Michael for this. Any halfway decent lawyer would argue he had nothing to do with it. Could have been anyone who buried those drugs. We need to catch him retrieving them. That's the only way to prove they're his. So what do? We force his hand. Make him desperate enough to come for them right away, before he has time to think it through. How? Will thought for a minute, his detective brain working. You tell him you're having landscaping work done. Big project. Company's coming Monday morning to dig up the entire garden, expand it, add new features. They'll be taking everything out, digging deep. I understood immediately. If he thinks a landscaping crew is gonna dig up that corner, he'll have to get the drugs out this weekend. Exactly. He won't have a choice. And we'll be waiting. Surveillance starting tomorrow night. Unmarked cars. Officers in position. The minute Michael starts digging, we let him get the drugs in his hands. Then we move in. My hands were shaking. What about Max? Michael can't know he's alive. I'll take him with me when I leave. Get him to my vet first thing in the morning. He needs fluids, antibiotics, his paws treated. He'll stay at my place until this is over. Will he be okay? Will looked at Max, sleeping on his bed, chest rising and falling steadily. He's one tough dog. This is the same animal that walked back from wherever Michael left him just to finish his mission. That kind of determination doesn't quit. We sat quietly for a moment. The reality of what we were about to do settled over me. You'll need to act normal, Will said. Invite Michael and Emma over for dinner tomorrow night. Saturday. Make it seem routine. That's when you mention the landscaping company. Casual, excited about expanding James's garden. You can't let Michael see that you know anything. I was a paralegal for 30 years. Worked hundreds of cases. I know how to keep my composure. This isn't a courtroom, Diane. This is your son-in-law. Your daughter will be sitting right there. Can you really look them in the eye and lie? I thought about James, dying in our bedroom, using his last months to protect me. I thought about Emma, my baby girl, trapped with a man who buried drugs in her father's memorial. I thought about Max, lying in the next room, who'd nearly died finishing what James started. Yes, I said. I can do this. Will reached into his pocket and pulled out an envelope. James gave me this before he died. Made me promise to give it to you when the time was right. I think we're there. He handed it to me. James's handwriting on the front. For Diane when she needs to know. My hands trembled as I opened it. The letter was short. James's handwriting was shakier than usual, written in those final weeks when holding a pen took effort. My dearest Diane, if you're reading this, then Michael has done something that revealed what I suspected all along. I'm sorry I couldn't stop this before I ran out of time. I've been watching Michael for almost 2 years now. The lifestyle he can't afford. Cash. The evasiveness. Most of all, the way Emma changed after she married him. Quieter. Tired. Covering bruises. I suspected he was involved in something criminal, but I couldn't prove it. I shared everything with Will. He got the department looking into Michael. I hope by now they're building a case. Max isn't just a companion. He's a retired K-9, trained in narcotics detection and protection. If Michael is what I think he is, Max will find the evidence eventually. And he'll keep you safe until then. Trust Will completely. He knows what to do. I hate that I won't be there to protect you myself, but I did everything I could to make sure you'd have what you need when Michael finally makes his move. Protect Emma. She's trapped with him. She's terrified. When this is over, help her get free. Love you. Always have. Always will. James. I read it twice. Then I set it down on the table and cried. Will didn't say anything. Just sat there while I cried for the husband who'd protected me even from the grave. For the daughter I'd failed to save from a monster. For the dog lying in the next room who'd nearly died completing a mission. When I could breathe again, I said. He knew about Emma. He knew Michael was hurting her. He suspected. Emma wouldn't confirm it. Wouldn't leave. James thought if we could get Michael arrested, Emma would finally be free. And now we can do that. Now we can do that. We spent the next hour planning. Will would take Max when he left, get him to the vet at 8. The police would set up surveillance Saturday night. I'd have dinner with Michael and Emma Friday evening. Act normal, mention the landscaping project, then wait. When Will finally left, carrying Max carefully in his arms, dawn was breaking. The dog looked back at me once before Will put him in the truck. I stood in the doorway watching them drive away. Then I went back inside. The house felt empty again, but different this time. This time I had a plan. I picked up my phone and called Emma. It rang 3 times. Mom. Her voice was thick with sleep. It's barely 6 in the morning. I'm sorry to call so early. I just wanted to invite you and Michael to dinner tomorrow night. Friday. I've been wanting to talk to you both about something. About what? Nothing bad. I'm planning some changes to the memorial garden. Thought you'd want to know since it's for your dad. Can you come? Around 6:30. Another pause. I could hear muffled voices, Emma talking to Michael. Let me check with Michael. I'll call you back. She called back 40 minutes later. We can come. What are you planning with the garden? I'll tell you tomorrow. It's a surprise. See you at 6:30. I hung up before she could ask more questions. The rest of the day was a blur. I went through the motions. Grocery shopping. Cleaning the house. Setting the table. My hands shook when I put out the plates. I kept thinking about Max's torn paws, Emma's bruises, James's letter. Will called around noon. Max is doing better. The vet got him on 4 fluids and antibiotics. His paws are bandaged. He's resting comfortably. Thank God. You ready for tonight? As ready as I'll ever be. Police will be in position by 9 tomorrow night. Unmarked cars. Officers in the neighbors' yards. The second Michael starts digging, they'll let him get the drugs in his hands, then move in. And if he doesn't come, he'll come. He won't have a choice. We hung up. I went back to preparing food I wouldn't be able to eat. Friday evening arrived too fast. I watched from the living room window as Michael's truck pulled into the driveway at exactly 6:30. Emma got out first, wearing a long cardigan over a dress. Michael came around and put his hand on her lower back. She went rigid. I opened the door before they could knock, smiled like nothing was wrong. Come in, come in. Hugged Emma. She was even thinner than last time. I could feel her ribs. Hi, Michael. Hey, Mom. Something smells good. I led them to the dining room. Dinner was already on the table. Roasted chicken, vegetables, potatoes. The kind of meal I'd made for family dinners 100 times. We sat down. Michael dominated the conversation like always. Talking about a big renovation job in the West End. Going on about budgets and timelines. Emma said almost nothing, just pushed food around her plate. I watched Michael's hand reach over and squeeze Emma's wrist under the table. Hard enough that she flinched. But she didn't pull away. Just sat there taking it. How had I missed this for so long? How had I let my daughter suffer? We were halfway through dinner when I brought it up. Kept my voice light, excited. So I wanted to tell you both about my plans for the garden. Michael's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. What plans? I want to expand it. Make it bigger, more elaborate. Add a water feature, more roses. Really make it spectacular for your dad. Emma looked up. That sounds beautiful, Mom. I've already hired a company. They're coming Monday morning to start. Michael set his fork down slowly. Monday. That's fast. I know. I called them earlier this week and they had a cancellation. Perfect timing. They'll start at 8 in the morning. The color drained from Michael's face. What exactly are they doing? Tearing everything out. Digging deep for new drainage and irrigation. Completely renovating the whole space. It'll take a few days, but it'll be worth it. Michael's knuckles went white on his knife. That seems really hasty. Maybe you should think about it more. I have been thinking about it. For weeks. This is what I want. What if you regret it? What if they mess it up? They're professionals. It'll be fine. You should cancel. His voice had an edge now. Wait. Plan it better. Why would I cancel? I'm excited about this. Emma was watching Michael. Her face had gone pale too. Michael pushed back from the table. I need to use the bathroom. He left the dining room. I heard him go down the hall. The bathroom door closed. Emma leaned across the table immediately. Her voice dropping to barely a whisper. Why are you doing this? Doing what? Expanding the garden. You're upsetting him. Can see it. Why? Emma, why would improving your father's memorial upset Michael? She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her hands were shaking. Michael came back into the room. We need to go. Early morning tomorrow. But you haven't finished eating. I'm not hungry anymore. Come on, Emma. Emma stood up immediately, started gathering her things. Michael's hand clamped on her shoulder, fingers digging in. Stay a little longer, I said to Emma. Visit with me. Michael's voice went hard. She's coming with me. Emma was already moving toward the door. Followed them. Michael was outside before I could say anything else. Emma turned back for just a second at the door. Mom, She stopped. Looked at Michael waiting by the truck. His jaw clenched. I have to go. She practically ran to the car. I watched them drive away. Watched the taillights disappear down Maple Avenue. Stood there until I couldn't see them anymore. Then I went inside and called Will. He took the bait. Completely panicked. Good. We're ready. Try to get some rest. But Saturday was the longest day of my life. I tried to stay busy, tried not to think about what was coming. But my mind kept spinning. What if Michael didn't come? What if he did come and something went wrong? What if Emma got caught in the middle? Michael's truck drove past my house 3 times. Once around noon. Once at 3. Once at 7. Each time he slowed down looking. We'll call it 8. He's watching your house. That's a good sign. Means he's planning something. When? Tonight. Probably late when he thinks you're asleep. We'll be in position by 9. The sun set. I turned off most of the lights, made it look like I'd gone to bed early. Then I sat in my bedroom in the dark, watching the backyard. 10 o'clock. 11. Midnight. 1. My eyes were getting heavy. I'd been running on adrenaline and almost no sleep for days. 2:15. Movement at the end of the street. A vehicle coasting with no headlights. Parked 4 houses down. My phone buzzed. Text from Will. He's here. Stay inside no matter what. I watched Michael get out of his truck. He was dressed all in black. He pulled tools from the truck bed. Shovel. Flashlight. A large duffel bag. He moved through the shadows, staying off the sidewalk, coming through yards. Into mine. He went straight to the memorial garden. Knew exactly where to go. He turned on the flashlight and started digging. Frantic. Dirt flying everywhere. He dug for maybe 8 minutes before he hit the metal box. Pulled it out. Opened it. Even from my window, I could see his shoulders relax when he saw the packages inside. He started loading them into the duffel bag. One by one. All 6 packages. He zipped the bag. Hefted it over his shoulder. That's when the lights came on. Floodlights from every direction. The backyard lit up like noon. Police. Dropped the bag. Hands in the air. Officers came from everywhere. The side yard. The back fence. Through the gate. At least 8 of them, all with weapons drawn. Michael froze. The duffel bag slipped from his shoulder to the ground. His hands came up slowly. He looked around, calculating escape routes. Then he ran. Straight for the back fence. He was fast. Got to the fence before the officers could close in. Jump. Got his hands on top. Started pulling himself up. That's when Will appeared from the side yard. He had Max with him. Will shouted something in German. Released Max's leash. Max shot across the yard like a bullet. His injured paws didn't slow him down. He reached the fence just as Michael got one leg over. Max leaped and caught Michael's other leg in his jaws. Michael screamed. Lost his grip. Fell backward off the fence. Hard. Max was on him instantly. Trained apprehension hold. Locked on Michael's arm. Keeping him pinned. Michael was screaming. Get him off. Get him off me. You're supposed to be dead. Max didn't move. Didn't release. Just held Michael there while officers surrounded them. Will gave another command in German. Max released but stayed close, growling, ready. Officers grabbed Michael. Flipped him over. Cuffed his hands behind his back. Michael kept fighting. This is a setup. You set me up. I'll kill you. All of you. I'll make Emma pay for this. Keep talking, an officer said. Everything's being recorded. They hauled Michael to his feet. He saw me standing on the back porch. You crazy bitch. You did this. You'll regret this. I didn't say anything. Just watched as they dragged him through the side yard to a waiting police car. He was still screaming when they put him in the back seat. A detective came up onto the porch. Mrs. Morrison, I'm Detective Harris. We got everything we need. Michael was caught on camera digging up the cocaine, loading it into his bag, attempting to flee. Plus assault on a police K9. This is as solid as cases get. Will it be enough? Federal drug trafficking charges. Assaulting an officer. Possession with intent to distribute. He's looking at 25 years minimum. With what we've already built on him, he'll die in prison. Will came up the steps with Max. The dog was limping again, but his tail was wagging. I knelt down. Max came to me. I put my arms around him. You did it. You finished your mission. Will's voice was rough with emotion. I've been a cop for 40 years. I've never seen anything like this. This dog walked back just to complete the job. We stood there watching the police process the scene, taking photos, bagging evidence. Michael's truck was towed away. Detective Harris came back. We'll need you to come down Monday for a formal statement. And we need to talk to your daughter. She may have information. She's a victim. He's been hurting her for years. We have specialists for domestic violence cases. We'll handle her carefully. But we do need to talk to her. When? Monday. Give her the weekend to process this. The sun was coming up. The memorial garden was destroyed again. Police tape everywhere. But it was over. Will put his hand on my shoulder. You did good, Diane. James would be proud. After everyone left, I sat on the porch with Max lying at my feet. The morning was quiet, peaceful. My phone rang. Mom. Her voice was shaking. The police just called. They said Michael was arrested. They said they found drugs in your garden. They said he's been dealing cocaine. Come over, honey. Right now. We need to talk. I'm scared. I know. But you're safe now. He can't hurt you anymore. Come home. She arrived 20 minutes later. When she got out of her car, she was crying. I pulled her into my arms and she collapsed against me. We sat at the kitchen table. I told her everything. About James's suspicions. About Max being a police dog. About the drugs in the garden. About Michael trying to kill Max and Max walking back to finish his mission. Emma pushed up her sleeves. Bruises in different stages of healing covered her arms. She lifted her shirt. More bruises on her ribs. He said if I ever left, he'd kill me. Then he'd kill you. Make it look like an accident. I believed him. I held her while she cried. He can't hurt you anymore. He's never getting out of prison. She looked at Max lying in his bed. Dad sent him to protect you. Dad sent him to protect both of us. 3 months later, Emma and I sat in a courtroom and watched Michael get sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. No possibility of parole for 15 years. Emma cried, but not from sadness. From relief. From freedom. 6 months after that, the memorial garden was blooming again. I'd rebuilt it myself this time. Removed everything Michael had touched. Started fresh with James's favorite roses, new flowers, a simple stone bench. Emma pulled into the driveway. She had her own apartment now. Was working as a bookkeeper for a non-profit. She looked healthy. Happy. No more long sleeves hiding bruises. We sat in the garden together with coffee. Max was lying in the sun, older and slower now, but content. I applied to volunteer at the animal shelter, Emma said. Start next week. That's wonderful, honey. Will's truck pulled up. He brought donuts and bad jokes like always. The three of us sat together talking about normal things. Weather. Emma's job. Will's fishing trips. Felt like family. I keep thinking about Dad, Emma said. How he knew what was happening. How he planned everything to save us. I touched James's photo sitting among the roses. He loved us. Even when he was gone, he found a way to protect us. Will nodded. James was the smartest man I knew. And Max carried out the mission perfectly. Max's tail thumped hearing his name. That evening, after everyone left, I sat in the garden alone. Max lay at my feet. The flowers were beautiful in the fading light. Real. Honest. Nothing hidden underneath anymore. James once told me that love isn't just what you do when you're present. It's what you build to last when you're gone. He built this. Protection that reached beyond death. Michael got 25 years. Emma is healing, laughing again, building a life that's actually hers. Max is old and slow, but still watching over us. And me. I tend my garden. Volunteer at the shelter with Emma twice a week. I miss James every day, but I'm not alone. I have my daughter back. I have a hero at my feet. I have a life worth living. And I have love that never died. That's my story. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe dogs can sense danger before we do? Have you ever had a pet that protected you when you needed it most? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more stories like mine. Because we're never too old for new chapters, new beginnings, and second chances at happiness. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.